Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a new era here on the My Local Radio Sports Network and MyLocalRadio.com. Elin Olive, Anthony Colasuno, and Aaron Poling, and we welcome you to Homefield Advantage. And this idea kind of came about a little uniquely, I guess you could say. Wouldn't you say, Aaron?
Yeah, I would say so. And, it's just another way to try to get more representation in our shows.
Yeah.
There's only so much time that we could really advocate to each different thing when we had our own individual shows, and now it's all three of us together.
Yeah, so all three of us together, all 3 days, and this is how it's going to work out. We're going to have Homefield Advantage, which is going to be our new sports show. We're going to talk Bridger Valley sports, Evanston sports, and Rich sports all at the same time. Even going to have our friend Jake Nichols come in starting next week to give us a Jackson Hole Bronx report, since they are part of the network as well. And then on Wednesdays at 10:30 on K9 and at 4:30 on KQ, it will be the My Local Radio student section. And that one will be focusing more on the band kids, the choir kids, the more, I guess you could say, cultural arts, as well as just some human interest stories that kind of take us beyond sports.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing little show we have here on the network, and it's just going to give everyone that, time and props and congratulations to what their desires are, what their hobbies are, either on the field or off the field.
And of course, on Monday's Homefield or Tuesday's Homefield Advantage, we're going to focus more on kind of sports we love, but we don't get to cover as much. And that is, this show is all about the wrestlers, the swimmers. It's for the cross-country kids, the golf kids, all those guys. And then on Wednesday, of course, we'll have the student section. And then on Thursday, it's another episode of Homefield Advantage where we focus on the big broadcasts coming up that weekend. Yeah, this is our new schedule, and we're super excited. We got a packed show for you today. We got an interview with Evanston Wrestling head coach Garth Wagstaff before they go to conference championships over in Riverton. We also have lineman swimmer Porter Swinson, as well as a bit of a preview for 3A state swimming. But first, Aaron, I understand we got some new state champions in Rich County.
Yeah, we have 5 state champions, one that's back-to-back in Nia Jolly. But we also have 4 brand new champs for the Rebels who had never won a state title before. One's going to come back next year, Nina Hillier, to defend her title. Jordan Johnson as well, so one on the boys' side, one on the girls' side. But we had 1 boys' title and 4 girls' titles, all coming out of Rich High School.
And I understand you got a chance to talk with those state champions.
Absolutely. All of them except Nia Jolly, because she ducked me by going to her Bridgerland class. But we'll have her interview next week, as she is a very interesting person. I think she is going to be wrestling at the next level as well.
So let's go ahead and kick it off with our first interview, which is
Jordan Johnson.
This week's T7 Propane Standout Student of the Week and State Championship Wrestler Jordan Johnson. So let's talk about it. What's going through your mind? Last match, you win 7-1. It goes the full length. But what's going through your mind as you step to the mat?
How I just didn't want to lose again. I always just wanted that drive for state champ.
You and that kid had wrestled before last year in the semifinals. Knowing a little bit about that kid, do you think that helped you going into the match?
Yeah, a little bit. I just knew I had to be more patient with him instead of trying to pull something off.
So it's only your junior year and you're a state champ, so there's a good chance that you'll get another opportunity to run it back. Are you kind of already excited for the wrestling season next year, or, one day after a grueling season, you're kind of ready for a little bit of a break?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. I'm already ready to get into the lab and start working for it.
Sounds good. So let's turn to personal life. When you have some spare time, what's something that you like to do in your free time?
I like to go up on the mountain and go boarding. It's pretty fun.
So you have 1 more year of high school. What are first some of your athletic goals for the next year?
Best of my ability to get a lot of tackles, lead tackles for next year's football season, and state champ, of course, for all the sports I do.
What about academics-wise? What are some of your academic goals the rest of your high school career?
I want to try and keep my 3.5 GPA and get enough college credits to be pretty all right in college.
So this is going to be kind of on the spot, but what are some of your favorite memories from football and wrestling seasons? No secret that you go very successful in both of them.
The friendship is very big in those 2 sports, and it's all about motivation from your friends that kind of drive you to do better.
One final question for you. What should the world know about Jordan Johnson?
I'm a bad man.
Yeah, and that was Jordan Johnson, who came in second place last year, and just kind of talking to him, whether it be at pickup basketball or just talking to him around the school, that we kind of felt that after last year, the one guy that had won the state championship. He was a senior. It was going to be between the guy that he beat last year and the guy that he beat this year for the championship. And he was able to go out and do it. He's going to be able to come back and defend his state title next year. The next interview coming up is a little bit of an unknown character, I think, sometimes around Rich County. But when you get a chance to talk to Addie Carrillo, as she gets going with her hands, it's so much fun. As she's actually a really fun conversation to have, but she just doesn't talk a whole lot. So when you get to know her, she is a lot of fun. Hopefully this interview will help you get to know Addie Carrillo.
State champ from the Rich Rebels girls varsity wrestling team, that is Addison Carrillo. But let's talk about those moments right before the match started. As you're heading out to the mat for a state championship match, what's going through your head?
I don't really remember much because I was in the zone. I was just ready to go. Usually in wrestling, your mind just goes blank and you're like, just ready to go, I guess.
So take me through the ending. The whistle blows, your hands raised. You are a state champ. What's going through your mind there?
Oh, actually, I felt like I was going to throw up right afterwards. So I was just like, stay away from me, people. I just need a trash can. So that was what was going through my mind. But afterwards, I was like, I did it. That was awesome. Let's go. And then I went back to watch my other teammates.
So I take it you left everything out there on the floor.
Yes, I did.
Take me through just the whole weekend. You guys have a lot of wrestlers wrestling for state championships down there. Did it help you at all knowing that you weren't alone and that most of your team was in it with you?
Yes, because they also felt like what I was feeling because I got very nervous because there's a lot of waiting. We waited for like 5 or 6 hours on Saturday to wrestle. It was very long. So they were over there and we played games and talked to each other. So it just helped calm each other down.
So take me through the team aspect. You guys finished second in 1 through 3A because girls wrestling, they don't break it down each individual division. But you guys, the only team you lost to is Duchesne, who's a 2A team. But you guys came up pretty close to them. Just take me through the weekend and what does it mean for your program to come in second at the state tournament?
I think it's very nice and cool. We were just outnumbered with Duchesne. I think we would have won if we had more girls in the lighter weight class because that's where we struggled. It was just a very fun time.
One final question for you. Give me some memories that you'll have throughout the season as this is your senior year.
I guess one of my favorite memories will be when everyone just came out and cheered afterwards. Like we were all together and we were all happy. I'm gonna say a lot of us cried because we're like, it's our senior year, and it's just one of my happy memories because we were all like together and hugging and being like, we did it together. It wasn't just one person; it was all together.
Yeah, that was Addie Carrillo, who is undercover a character who talked about, what her thoughts were after winning the state championship. Her first thought was, get me a garbage can. And that's just kind of the character that Addie Carrillo is. The next interview is with Amelia, a.k.a. AJ Schinkel. And AJ was wrestling a nationally ranked girl. And she talks about this in the interview. And we talked about it a little bit, where she was down. And then all of a sudden, she got a pin. Just from out of nowhere, made a reversal, pinned her opponent, and won the state title.
You're another state champion from the Rich Rebels varsity girls wrestling team. That is Amelia Schinkel. It's good to hear. So take me through the moments right before the match. What's going through your mind as you step out on the mat for a state championship match?
I was freaking out because I was going against a nationally ranked girl, and I didn't think I was going to be able to do it.
Well, your matches especially stood out to me because you kind of flipped the script on them a little bit at the end where you were down and then you flipped her over, got the pin. So not only did you win a state championship, you beat a nationally ranked opponent to do so. That's got to be something going through your mind at the end. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it was pretty overwhelming. I was really excited.
So take me through the moments when you flip her over, pin her, and the whistle blows and you're a state champ. What's going through your head there?
The first thing I said was, I did it, Mom, and then I hit the mat, and then I ran to my coach.
It's awesome. So let's go ahead and talk about your senior year. You, Addie, and Naya, all seniors come through and win state championships. What does it mean to do it together with girls that you started with this program together with?
It feels good to end out on a good note with my sisters. It's nice to have unity with the team.
So one final question for you. As a senior, do you have any lasting memories outside of obviously the state championship? Do you have any lasting memories from this year?
I would say the random moments on the bus when we all break down in laughter and on the floor.
Yeah, that was AJ Schinkel. She's one of the more quiet kids at Rich County. Basically told me after the interview that she's not a real big fan of talking, so I kind of feel a little bad for putting a microphone in her face and making her recount the state title win, but I'm really thankful for her being able to do that. Last but not least is Nina Hillier. And Nina Hillier, she talks about in her interview, from last year to this year, she has made leaps and bounds to get to where she is at now. She is, if you're a kid at home, an example of, if you're not great at something at first, don't give up. Just keep trying, keep putting the effort in, keep going to work, and you can end up with a similar story that Nina Hillier has.
I'm here with another state champ from the Rich Rebels girls varsity wrestling team. That's Nina Hillier.
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm probably not doing as good as you are, but let's go ahead and take me through that last match. Before you step on the mat, what's going through your mind as you're wrestling for a state championship?
I was watching all of my teammates because they were before me, but I mentally get it in my head that I am the best wrestler and that I can do it, and I never go onto the mat thinking that I'm going to lose no matter what. It's always just another match for me, not different anytime just because it's the state championship. It's just another match for me.
Does that help you watching some of your teammates go before you, because you are the 4th state champ from the girls side? Do you think that really helped you going into the match?
Yeah, it actually really does help me because I get to watch them and it gets me hyped for my match, and when they win it's really cool, and so it gets me hyped and I'm able to be more excited and do better in my match.
Take me through the last moments of the match. Whistle blows, your hands raised, you're a state champ. What's going through your mind there?
I don't know, it's kind of crazy to me because my first years I wasn't the best, and I just worked really hard this year, and as soon as the whistle blew I was okay, I actually did it, and I was just really proud of myself.
As you should be. Take me through some of the hard work that went into the off season. It's obviously not a lot of people step onto the mat and win a state championship the first year. You're going to go through bumps and bruises, and wrestling, unfortunately, when you make a mistake, you get physical pain for that mistake. Take me through some of the work that you put in the off season and through the season to get to this point.
Well, I was not the weight that I wanted to be when the season started, so I had to work really hard and drop weight for that to get to the weight class I wanted to be in, and just going to practice and doing my very best and being there and doing things when we were told to do things, and that helped me a lot.
So you're only a junior. You're going to get one more shot at this thing, so take me through what are your thoughts and goals going into next season?
I'm just going to go, and the main thing for me is have fun and just work really hard and do what our coaches tell us to do. That's the biggest thing for me, is they help us through things, and if we listen to what they say, most of the time we do really good, and that's a big thing for me.
That was Nina Hillier, and once again, I just love the story of her saying that I wasn't very good my first year, and she endured the bumps and the bruises, endured all of the practices, endured the cutting weight to get to the weight class she wanted this year, and it really paid off in the end. That's really the story of a heart of a champion to me.
One thing that really kind of stood out to me listening to these interviews is every single one of them has a story of overcoming an obstacle of some sort. Nina Hilliard talks about how, like you mentioned, she wasn't very good her first time, and then you got more and more, just all 4 of them had to overcome different obstacles in order to get to where they were. And it just goes to show what we all know is that championships are not easy. They are not free.
And also just those high-pressure situations. You're competing for a state title. Your name is etched in history for the rest of time now. You're going to be in that record book, that archive of, hey, 2023 state champion for this weight class, this division, and it's just amazing stories, and now they have that moment for the rest of their life.
We did mess up at the beginning. We were so excited to tell you about the new show and the new format that we forgot to mention that all this is made possible by our friends at the Bullock Agency. Jake Major with the Bullock Agency of Wyoming, 4-Win Benefits Matter, and Bear Lake Memorial Hospital, the most caring hospital on earth. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from Evanston Wrestling head coach Garth Wagstaff as they get ready for conference. We also got that 3A state swim and dive on the boys' side preview, as well as an interview with Porter Swinson and much more. You're tuned in to Homefield Advantage, brought to you by Jake Major with the Bullock Agency of Wyoming and Bear Lake Memorial Hospital, live here on mylocalradio.com.
When you have an emergency, choose Bear Lake Memorial Hospital. Open 24/7, the professional emergency room staff is trained for trauma, medical, cardiac, pediatric, orthopedic, and obstetric emergencies. Bear Lake Memorial is a critical access level 3 trauma center, offering immediate access to radiology, lab services, surgery, and internal medicine consults. The ER teams are well-trained professionals who are ready to act. When you have an emergency, Bear Lake Memorial Hospital, the most caring hospital on earth.
Out here, we've always worked remote. Out here, stress usually refers to the pull on a rope. Where a stroll in the city is also a stroll in the great outdoors. Where work is a way of life, and life is good. Out here, the backyards are big, and the deals, they're even bigger. This is Southwestern Wyoming, and it's where you can get the biggest deals on a vehicle you want with plenty of hometown hospitality. Heritage Auto, your hometown dealer with the biggest deals.
Whether it's for your home, your ranch, your equipment, or your business, when you need propane, count on the best. T7 Propane in Woodruff. The safe and professional team at T7 Propane offers quality product and the most responsive propane service in the area, so you can enjoy the affordability, reliability, and efficiency of propane. For heating, cooking, grilling, motor fuel, and more, count on the team at T7 for your personal or business propane needs. 435-793-4208.
At Reese Auto Service in Lyman, you will find highly skilled mechanics who will get the job done right the first time. They work on anything from light line jobs of tire alignments, suspension work, and oil changes to heavy line jobs of engine replacement, differentials, and all powertrain components. Make sure all your recreational vehicles are working at top speed by getting them checked at Reese Auto Service in Lyman so your time having fun doesn't end early. Reese Auto Service, 541 State Highway 413, Lyman.
And we welcome you back for our next segment on Home Field Advantage here on mylocalradio.com and on the radio on KNYN 99.1 FM and KADQ 98.3. It's a start of a new era with this show. Of course, we've got this show happening on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Tuesdays, we talk about the sports that we love but don't get a chance to cover on a day-to-day basis. And, of course, that's the wrestling, the swimming, the cross-country, the golf, all that stuff. Cannot wait till we can kind of roll all those sports into this as we are in the midst of the wrestling and boys swimming season. And then on tomorrow, we will have the My Local Radio student section, which is more kind of a human interest type show, and focusing also with the focus on band, dance team, cheer team, stuff like that, things we don't usually get to cover. And then on Thursday, we'll have Home Field Advantage once again, where we preview the basketball games coming up this weekend. Well, next up on our show, the Evanston Red Devil wrestling team. They look like a team that could compete for a state championship. But first things first, they got to take care of business at the conference championship in Riverton. I got a chance to sit down and talk with Coach Garth Wagstaff of the Evanston Red Devils. Here's that interview.
Here with Evanston Wrestling head coach Garth Wagstaff. Coach Wagstaff, can't believe we're already saying it, but the culminating events are here. It is time for conference championship time. Last time we saw you, you guys won a nail biter of a duel against Rock Springs. Talk to us about how things have kind of gone for you guys leading up to this conference championship.
Yeah, we've had a pretty successful year. You know, we always talk about what our purpose is. And so now getting towards the end of the year, we really focus on our purpose and just, keeping that in mind as we go out and compete. We never stress winning and losing. We're just focusing on purpose and always getting better. And it doesn't change just because we're at the end of the year.
You talked about how right now you guys are focusing on the purpose. When you talk about focusing on your purpose, what kind of message are you giving to the boys and the girls in the wrestling program when you talk about focusing on your purpose?
Most definitely go out and wrestle your match. Don't change. Do what you do. Focus on your strengths and then go out and score points. This time of year, we see people starting to settle and they're just trying to hang on for a win. And we want to change where we're going out and always looking to score, always looking for those opportunities, and do what you do. Don't change who you are just because it's the end of the year.
Coach, a lot has been written about this team, specifically Brady Roberts. He seems like every other week he's in YO Preps and statewide media. But there's a lot of other talented wrestlers. Of course, we've got Aiden Lichty, Cole Robinette, Bronson Sims, a lot of other talented wrestlers on this team as well. Can you let's shine the spotlight a little bit on them?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a solid lineup from top to bottom. If you look at our lineup, and that's why I think it's such a fun dual team to watch, because every person we send out is solid and they're going to represent the Red Devils. And, if you look at that, we've got a lot of young kids stepping in, making some changes. We've got a lot of senior leadership, with a solid senior group, Jackson Hayter, Tyson Hamilton, and I just love all of them. All those seniors lead just by their example. They're not going to be the rah-rah guys. They just come and go to work every day and do what they're supposed to do, and it's good to see their growth and to see their potential as we get into the end of the season.
Coach, I know you've worked with this group for a while, even though it's your first year technically as the head coach, but is there anything that kind of surprised you about this group this year that was a pleasant surprise that made you think, okay, we've got a real shot to go compete for a state championship as a team?
It's a group that just comes and keeps working, like we said. In the off season, we did a lot of stuff to get better on our feet. We tried to work on getting better at bottom and having that confidence to be able to go underneath people. And I think you've just seen the growth in those two areas where we are much improved on our feet. We have a lot more confidence there. And then I feel our kids have the confidence to go down and be able to get away and get that point that they need at any time against anybody. So I think it's been good to see that work that they put in start to pay off, and they have that confidence now.
With the conference championships in Riverton this week, talk to us a little bit about some names that we need to keep an eye on. Of course, we've talked about Brady Roberts, and a lot of people have talked about him. He's the favorite to win his division, not just at conference, but over in Casper later on. But in order for the Red Devils to come away with a conference championship, who in your mind needs to have probably their best week of the season?
Well, for us to have that happen, we always talk about we're going to have to do something we haven't ever done. And I think that's every kid in our program is going to have to do something they haven't done all year, which they are all capable of doing. And it's just like winning. We always talk about, try not to talk about the winning and losing, but it's just doing a little bit better, than you did last weekend. What can we do to get better for this weekend? And that's kind of been our focus all year, but they're going to have to do something they haven't ever done. That might be beating a kid or upsetting a kid. But everyone has the potential. Your goal going into it is you want to be top 4. So that makes your state tournament a lot easier. So you're not drawn into there. They do take the top 8, so obviously their first objective is to be top 8 and then finish as high as they can, top 4. And obviously if that means being on top of the podium, that's definitely all in reach for every kid. I don't think we're outmatched in any weight class where we don't have that as a possibility. But that means we have to do something we haven't ever done before. So
that is Coach Garth Wagstaff, head coach for Evanston Wrestling. Coach, super excited about conference. Cannot wait to talk with you next week as we get ready for state. Anything else before we wrap this up?
No, just appreciate all that you do. Shout out to all the other sports programs. That's one thing I think when we had our last home duel is the culture that is being created. It was a packed house. We had cheerleaders, dance. The choir was there to sing the national anthem, bunch of student body, bunch of alumni. It's just changing that culture. And I just think right now it's just that culture is changing, and that's just a good thing to be part of. And, being part of Red Devils is pretty awesome right now.
Garth Wagstaff of the Evanston Red Devil wrestling team. According to Wild Wrestling, they're the number 4 team in all of 3A behind Green River, Pinedale, and Rollins. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this all shakes out. He mentioned it. They don't feel like they're outmatched at any weight class. I've seen them in duels. They really do know how to get the job done, really from top to bottom.
That's impressive, but also listening to that interview, Coach Wagstaff has a plan. He listed step by step by step and was just very descriptive in how, hey, we're going to go out there, we're going to get wins. If we're the underdog in one match, we're the underdog in one match. We don't care. We're going to go out there and get a win and make sure that we come home with state titles.
One thing that Coach Wagstaff talked about in that interview that really stood out to me is I know he was talking about the culture of Evanston High School as a whole, which I've been a part of, and not that I was a part of changing the culture, but being at the games. Yeah. Like one of my favorite things is to go see an Evanston football game at the new stadium. It's a beautiful view. The crowd's always into it. But that culture of wrestling has been handed down from Coach Larry Wagstaff, correct? Yeah. And that is the new Coach Wagstaff, that is his father.
I believe uncle.
Uncle, okay. But it's a family member they're handing it down. That culture was set, and I think he's done a tremendous job coming in. Expectations are the same. It's just a different voice with a little bit different message, and I really love that aspect of what's going on.
Well, I mean, anytime you come into a new position and you're filling in the shoes of someone who is, quite frankly, an immortal, a legend in the community. I mean, you know what it was like. You came in, you had to fill in for Ryan Steinekert at Rich.
Yeah, I mean, a little different, but okay.
I know, but what I'll
take it. I'll take the compliment.
Well, what I'm saying is that the expectations are, it's harder because the expectations don't change. There's not like this is a new person, we're going to give them a minute to kind of get ready. It's no, the expectations are the same for Garth as they were for Larry. It's go out there and put it on a team that can compete for a state championship, and that's exactly what he's done. I mean, it's kind of crazy to me to think about just the history of Evanston wrestling and the crazy career that Larry Wagstaff had. Garth Wagstaff wrestled for him. He coached with him for years after that. And you're right. He's done a really good job just kind of like not missing a beat. And here they are. Voila, we're ready to compete for another title.
And I think with head coach Garth Wagstaff and just being ready for that state title, I think we could see another great Wagstaff head coaching mind in the Evanston wrestling program, and that he could have a great career ahead of him and just cement that legacy more that Evanston is always a threat in wrestling.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, that is going to do it for this portion of Home Field Advantage. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will hear from Lyman Swinner, Porter Swinson, and then we'll break down the upcoming 3A Boys State Swim and Dive Championship. You don't want to miss it. You're tuned in to Home Field Advantage here on mylocalradio.com, on the radio at 99.1 FM and on 98.3 FM as well. Brought to you by Bear Lake Memorial Hospital and Jake Major with the Bullock Agency of Wyoming.
Hey there, I'm Jake Major, your local Medicare and insurance benefits advisor for the Bullock Agency of Wyoming. With over 25 years of experience protecting families in rural America, we understand the importance of having affordable insurance coverage. Whether you're searching for extra coverage or looking to understand and switch your Medicare options, I can help you find a range of top-rated insurance companies and tailor-made packages based on your needs. Call me, Jake Major, today at 307-209-4685 and let's discuss your insurance options. We're the Bullock Agency of Wyoming when benefits matter.
If you've never heard a mechanic say they truly care, then you've been at the wrong place. Stacy's Repair in Woodruff is a family-owned and operated business open since 1992. Offering all types of maintenance and repair services, you can be sure your vehicle is operating at its best. Whether your vehicle is older or the newest model, gas or diesel, we fix and maintain them all. Also offering chip repair, windshield replacement, and tires. When your vehicle needs a mechanic, bring it to the ones who truly care. Stacy's Repair in Woodruff.
Founded in 1938 with the hopes and dreams of serving the Bridger Valley, Benedict's Trading Company was started. Now 85 years and 3 generations later, Benedict's Market is still serving the Bridger Valley by offering the highest quality meats and fresh produce to having fresh baked items and hot deli options. Benedict's Market is your one-stop for all of your grocery needs. Benedict's Market offers the best services in a modern setting to make your shopping both quick and easy. Visit them today at 950 North Highway 414, Mountain View, Wyoming.
Welcome back live into Home Field Advantage. Anthony Colston alongside Elon Olive and Aaron Poling. And for this last segment, we'll hear from Lyman swimmer Porter Swinson as they are getting ready for state in the upcoming week. I am here with Lyman swimmer Porter Swinson. Porter, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing amazing. First question, tell us a little bit about the swim team's season so far.
Well, we are one of the smallest teams. We are 10 people, and we're doing really good this season. We compete with a lot of teams that are 25 to 30 kids, and we usually take fourth. So that's pretty good for us.
Right on, right on. What has been your favorite part about being on the swim team?
Probably being one of the team captains of 3 of us. So we got 3 juniors on the team, and we're all team captains. We get to make a lot of the decisions for the team. We're very involved with our coaches, and I just really like having that leadership position. It kind of makes you realize that there's a lot more that goes into our planning than just do this, swim this, we're going to go here.
Awesome. That's awesome right there. What are some of the events that you swim in during competitions?
The 500 freestyle and the 200 IM are probably my best, but I've qualified in the 50 free, the 200 free, and the butterfly as well.
Nice. Congrats on qualifying in those events. We're going to switch up the pace a little bit and go some icebreaker questions here. What is your favorite class this year?
I'd have to say woodshop. I've been just doing all kinds of stuff. I learned how to use the lathe pretty good this semester and last semester from one of my good friends.
What has been some of the items that you've created in woodshop?
So I've done a bread box and then just a couple like little bowls and little trinkets on the lathe.
Right on. Next question. What is your most favorite home cooked meal?
Ooh, I'd have to say Old Dutch dish.
Right on. What is in a old Dutch dish?
So it's a sausage ball that has rice and eggs in it, and then you just bake it for like an hour.
That sounds amazing. I'm hungry right now, so that sounds pretty good. Last question, Porter. What is your go-to song, or if you have like a go-to music artist you listen to?
I love Cody Jinks's music. He's very different from modern artists. He goes a lot back to the older 90s, 80s country kind of vibe, but he also comes back to the modern stuff and adds a lot of rock into it. And I just love his sound, and he's got a very unique voice compared to other people.
That's all the questions I have. Porter, thank you so much for your time.
Alrighty, thank you.
Well, I learned something today. I didn't know what an old Dutch dish was.
And I'm going to say, that's what I'm talking about. Finally, someone's getting on the Cody Jinks bandwagon. Seriously.
You have a favorite Lyman swimmer now.
I have
You're
a
going to be
favorite
cheering
Lyman
for it
swimmer
state.
now.
He acts like he's
Porter
the only.
Swinson, you should have seen me when you said Cody Jinks on that interview. I like raised my hands up like someone's like my favorite team scored a touchdown or something. That's a big one for me.
Elon acts like he's like the only Cody Jinks fan in the world sometimes. He's definitely not, but I personally.
I only know a few of them. So
I personally have never heard of Cody Jinks until I met you.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah. See.
I know a few Cody Jinks songs, but
Yeah.
Porter, good kid. He's a
Yep.
junior captain on the swim team, and man, they're going to be competing for state this week and going to be looking to take home some state titles.
Yeah, and we have the individual top times for 3A right now. I mean, Buffalo and Lander look like the teams to kind of beat right now. Evanston, though, they look pretty good. Jacob Olson has the 6th fastest freestyle time. The fastest for Lyman is Mason Imoni, that freshman. He's 14th fastest in the where are we at? 50-yard freestyle. Then we move on to the 100 freestyle. Evanston's Jacob Olson. He is 4th fastest. Lyman has Mason Imoni again, just inside the top 20. In the 200-yard freestyle, Evanston's Brady Schmidt, another freshman. A lot of freshmen from Evanston.
Yes.
In that top 10 right now. As far as Lyman is concerned, Colby Blackburn, he is inside the top 20 as well. In the 500-yard freestyle, Evanston's Jacob Olson, surprise, surprise. And by the way, Olson's only a sophomore. So you're seeing a lot of freshmen and a lot of sophomores placed very, very high. For Lyman, their number one guy at the 200 is Odin Ayer for the Eagles. He's sitting outside the top 20. For the Red Devils in the 100-yard backstroke, it's Hanky Phillips, the senior. He is number 7. And Evan Bentley from Lyman, he's number 13. 100-yard breaststroke. The fastest time in the state was a 58.90. That is an unreal time right now. But the fastest for Evanston is Kyler Hoagman. He is number 8. And then for Lyman, your fastest is, surprise, surprise, Mason Imoni, the freshman. He's number 12 right now. In the 100-yard butterfly, Evanston's fastest is senior Jackson Daniels. He's number 7. Lyman's fastest is Evan Bentley. He's 18, so 2 top 20 times there. 200 IM, you've got 2 Lander guys at the top with the 203.60 to 203.86. So that should be an exciting race. Jacob Olson, the sophomore, he comes in number 9. Lyman comes in with Mason Imoni, the freshman, just outside of the top 20, number 24 to be exact. And then when you look at the diving, it is Evanston's Eric Hughes who actually sits in 3rd place on 11 dives, but 2nd place on 6 dives. not too far outside of Landers, Gage, Hampton. For Evanston. Lyman, no divers this year, but we go through those, and it looks like Evanston is going to be right there. They barely lost to Lander in the Western Conference Championship, so they've got a chance. It's going to come down to relays. Lyman, they said they're a small team, but they're a very, very strong team.
Very strong team, and it's one of those teams that also a lot of future. Porter's a junior. Brix Hoon, I believe, is a junior this year or a sophomore. Same for Odin Ayer and Mason Imoni, the freshman. A lot of great learning experience coming up this week at State for Lyman, and also for Evanston as well. We saw at the top a lot of underclassmen at the top from Evanston, Lyman, and also other schools as well.
The thing that stood out to me is a lot of Evanston underclassmen, sophomore and freshmen, in the top 10.
Yes.
That stood out and really kind of like, okay, there's something building here. Kate Schmidt and Coach Jim Levine, their co-head coaches, they've been building this program for a while, and they have the senior class to get the job done this year, but knowing how good that freshman, that sophomore class is it's really encouraging for Evanston fans.
Yeah, you have to build depth, it feels like, no matter what. And I think the big story is you said Evanston has a chance. I mean, Landers had a stranglehold on swimming in
almost 3 decades that they
we were talking about a dynasty earlier, and you made the point that it's almost an era at this point for Lander Valley swimming. And Evanston, a lot of times if you have the seniors, you're always going to be led by your seniors, but when you can get big contributions from your underclassmen, it's amazing what that can do for one team morale and how much better that makes you as a team.
We are live on KNYN 99.1 FM Evanston Kemmer, and this has been a fun show. I'm excited to see where this goes, as we have run out of time on the first edition of My Local Radio Sports Network's Homefield Advantage. And man, we got a great show for you tomorrow. You're going to tune in 10:30 to around 11 o'clock, maybe 11:15. We've got a little bit of leeway. But it is the My Local Radio student section. And again, as we teased earlier, that is the show where we're going to get to focus a little bit more on the band, the choir, some more human interest type shows. So that's going to be a lot of fun to put together, and we can't wait for you to join us then. I'm Elon Olf. That's Aaron Poling. That is Anthony Colasuno. And it's been our pleasure to be with you this morning. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the very first My Local Radio student section. Thank you guys so much, and take care.